The code of this military elite would outlive the Christian knight. It would adapt itself over the centuries, perfected in a fanatical devotion to duty and the way of the warrior. Every year in modern Japan, these horsemen compete in yabusame, the knightly art of fighting with bows from horses. As in Europe, medieval Japanese knights developed a code. They called it Bushido, the way of the warrior. Its first rule states, the way of the samurai is found in death. In medieval Japan, a feudal society like Europe's was developing. Here, too, was land fought over by rival warlords with their own private armies. The warrior elite of these armies were the samurai. Though nearly 7,000 miles apart, the medieval knights of Europe and Japan had much in common. Like his Christian counterpart, the physical appearance of the samurai was designed to terrify his foe. Japanese armor was as intricate as European. Its forbidding appearance was matched only by the samurai's skill and speed with the sword. The samurai learned to find weak spots in his opponent, in both man and armor.
The torso can't be attacked, so you have to go for the waist. All this is thread, the weakest part of the armor. This is the kind of place you must cut into. The arteries are all to be found along the inner part of the body, behind the knee, here. This is the kind of place you must aim for. Into the neck. This bit, of course, is out. Here you would hold the blade horizontally and take it through this way. You thrust from underneath here and cut the vein.
When two equally matched samurai met in battle, it was not uncommon for them to kill each other at the same time, one delivering a lethal blow at the moment of his own death. The other weapon of the samurai was the composite bow. Unlike other composites, the Japanese bow was made entirely from wood. In a tradition that binds generations of warriors, this bowmaker is using wood cut by his grandfather that has been left to season for 50 years. He, in turn, has laid down wood for his grandson, not yet born. In the use of the bow, we see where the chivalric knight of the West and the Bushido warrior began to differ. The samurai was skilled with the sword, so was the chivalric knight. Yet these horsemen must strike 3 consecutive targets at a gallop with a weapon used in Europe almost exclusively by foot soldiers. The knights of Europe had weapons and techniques unknown to the samurai. But while in the West all knights were men of high birth, in Japan, a warrior's skill alone qualified him as a knight. For centuries, the samurai resisted innovation. Isolated on their islands, they followed the path of Bushido long after chivalry had died. Isolation had its advantages, the greatest being safety from invasion. The West had been overrun by horse people from the East. The Japanese also would face a threat from the steppe, the Mongols. Twice they tried to invade Japan. The second time, in 1281, typhoons wrecked the Mongol fleet. The Japanese called the typhoons divine wind, or kamikaze. The samurai code of Bushido teaches not only how to kill an opponent, but also oneself, because death at one's own warrior hand is always preferable to dishonor. In World War II, the Japanese had pilots known as the kamikaze. They flew suicide missions, crashing their bomb-filled planes into enemy targets. For them, like their ancestors, the way of the samurai is found in death.